to people who are empathic that they can empower their abilities because they're a gift. They really are. And they're a
Yes.
powerful gift. They're a powerful gift. And I actually think empathic people, and I mean this in the most respectful way to everyone, empath and not, but I think they're designed for Acasma. If you think about what we do in a session,
Yes.
how we read the people's energy and how we
Yes.
we reconnect them, and we do the energetic work spaces for their root lines and soul spaces and sacred heart and so forth. But then we're registering, and if comfortable, it's not a standard that has to be held because all facilitators are different. But if they're comfortable, the facilitator shares additional information of what they read going on in the client. And so an empath is already geared to read the client. And then an Acasma empath is going to be somebody who's also trained, skilled, and attuned to be able to hold that alignment with no detriment to themselves. Hello, Holy One.
Hi.
Hello, hello. You look glorious.
Thank you. So do you.
Thank you.
As always, you just glow.
Aw, you too. You too. I think that's so cool, though. I remember growing up, um, we learned this song. I was in Sunday school a lot, and it was like, "This little light of mine,
Mhm.
I'm gonna let it shine."
Yep.
And and I can remember my mom and dad saying, you can tell when the light is on in the heart. It shines through,
Wow.
the
Okay.
person. And so when you say you have a glow, and I say, you too, like it just took me back to that, we got that little light of ours going on. So,
No, that's funny though, because I remember that song in Sunday school, but now it has a completely different meaning to me because I'm in a completely different space. So yes, I haven't thought about that in so long.
yeah,
Wow.
it's
Okay.
so cool because even when I began allowing my meanings to expand,
Hmm.
um, I remember one of my family members, a more distant member, like an uncle or something. I mean, he reached out and he said, "Where is Jesus in all of this that you're sharing?" And for me, Jesus was still in there. And
Yeah.
it just expanded. It just got bigger.
Yes.
So the Jesus vibe got bigger, and that brought the opportunity to see more light, more love, or whatever you want to call it, look at it that way. So it's interesting, though, the song even changed for me as well. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Uh, it just moved into a whole new level of an alignment of consciousness,
Yeah.
source itself within a form, recognizing, remembering itself, and choosing to shine. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Same song, just an expanded understanding.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, what's going on in Tanny's world?
When you talk about the expanded space, so that is what has been happening for me. Like there's been a lot of expansion and the way that I see things is different. And I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain in a way.
You did
Um,
such a good job. When you left that voice message on my Discord
yes.
server, I was like, Tanny, we got to get on YouTube. I loved how you were saying even though you are seeing everything in multiple spaces of availability. So you
Yeah.
could engage it this way, you could look at it this way. You're also able, and I want you to take us there, you're also able to hold compassion for others in the space that may not see it in the reference point you're able to see it from. And maybe they need some more compassion or some love or understanding in some way for what they're dealing with from their viewpoint. That's huge.
That has been a very big leap for me because because as you know, awakening is not this linear thing where you go through here and you get, because that's what I used to think. I was like, oh, so I'm just going to go through this process and I'm going to feel good all the time. And then it started happening. And I was like, what is going on? Am I crazy? What's happening? So I got to this place where I started to understand certain things, and it's so exciting. I just wanted everybody else to understand the same thing. And then when I'm trying to explain this, people are like, "Are you crazy? What are you talking about?" So I went through this period of time where I would have different understandings, and I wanted people to understand what I understood. But I was coming from this forceful place and not having any compassion. And so now I have expanded from that. And the example that I used, there was a death on my husband's side of the family, and we just saw this family member over Christmas. So it was very sudden and unexpected. But when it happened and I heard about it, it was sad, and I felt the sadness and I shed some tears, but it didn't take me over like it used to. It used to take me over. And I would feel my sadness and I would feel my husband's sadness and I would feel everybody else's sadness. And it was just all consuming. But this time I felt it, but I didn't stay there because I was able to see, like, my belief, and I believe it's similar to yours, we choose the lives that we come into. We choose the challenges that we will face. We design these spaces together. So when we get here as humans, we forget. And sometimes it doesn't make sense until we wake up and then we become aware. And so I was able to see it. And it literally happened within seconds. When I heard that he died, I was sad, but then I could also see how him and his family members had designed these spaces together and how there were all these other connection points with the family and the friends and all of these other people who he touched in his life. So how they were connected to those spaces and how even though I know this understanding of what death actually is, other people didn't hold that understanding and that was okay.
Mm.
I don't have to force that on them. They're grieving, they're sad, and I can have compassion for them and I can meet them where they are, which is what Acasma does. It meets us where we are. And that has been a game changer for me because now I am more able to meet people where they are. But it was fascinating. It was just like when I heard it, it was just, I could see all of these different points and it was literally in moments. So that has been, it's fascinating. It's
Yeah,
fascinating.
there's been a huge uptick, I think, in the movement of consciousness itself. The unified fields expanded so rapidly lately, and it's because of all the increments. So even the spaces of consciousness in certain reference points where they may not even be aware that there's shifting going on. That doesn't matter. It's a unified field. So it's all moving. But some of these movements are being registered by people who are maybe in a energetic proximity where the view's a little different. It's like we talk about being in the parking lot and looking around. You're just going to see the car right next to you and the car in front of you and the
Mhm,
car. But if you go get in the building and you go up
mhm.
7 levels and you look out the window, oh wow, look at, you can see everything. So it doesn't
Yes.
make the person in the building better. It just gives them a different view and a different
Yes.
register. And so we have people that are in the human collective like us that are registering this movement of the field, and they're having these aha moments and they're having these spaces of clarity. I love to think of it, for me, I register it as a new level of coherent flow. So thinking about it from the understanding of being able to be present for our friends and our family and meet them right where they're at, and coming from the ability to anchor coherence and clarity, that's huge in itself. Because when people are going through something, they don't need someone else falling apart with them. They need
Right.
someone they can hang on to while they let go.
Yes.
And I feel like that's what you were doing.
Yes. And actually, now that you say that, that thought came across my mind as well, because it's the idea that when someone is falling apart, they're grieving, they're struggling, they don't need somebody else reflecting that right back to them and adding on to that. So instead, like I said, I felt what I felt, and then I was able to go into this space where I just went into a cosmo flow and I just held them in the highest vibrations of love and light.
Mm,
And that's what I did, because I'm like, that's what they need. They need love. They need light while they're struggling.
mm.
It needs to be held.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not trying to be cheesy, but wow, we're really bringing this song in again. You decided this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Cuz you could
Yes.
have went into your own, sadness and you acknowledged, you didn't negate. You acknowledged, but you chose through conscious awareness where you were going to land and what you were going to give your focus to, what you were going to cling to, grab onto. And it was not the sorrow, it was peace and balance.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
beautiful. So you keep mentioning Acasma, which I'm very grateful that you do because it's my world. I wrote the book AQE Foundations, Acasma Quantum Energy Foundations, and I wrote the guide to Acasma Quantum Energy. So Tanny's mentioning AQE, Acasma Quantum Energy. This is a modality assisting ascension, and it's a modality assisting energetic movement in general for healing on all levels of the body and the being. It's a quantum healing technology, and it is teachable, it's attunable, and it is also incredibly helpful in assisting humans in living everyday life. Like, that's a really, I think, for the most part, not a commonality with an energetic healing modality, that it's going to help you live everyday life. But I mean, it really does. I mean, you brought it in already in this manner, but like, and you've had so many other instances you shared with us, Tanny. But do you see that that's like a really big part of a cosmic quantum energy is for just like how it helps us navigate life better?
Absolutely. Because it just opens up these different levels of understanding. And it is fascinating to me how I will have understanding of one thing, and then I do some more work with the Cosma, and then the same thing I go back to, and I understand it, but on a much deeper level.
Mm,
And like you
yeah.
said, just with the day to day stuff, it has been so very helpful, especially when some feared spaces come up. I just remember, you are safe, you are loved, you are surrounded by love, trust yourself and allow. Like that just pops in. And I'm like, okay, I'm safe. It's good. What do I need to know in this situation? Like there's fear coming up. I don't have to stay stuck in it. I'm safe. What do I need to learn? So, yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, it's bringing in coherence and clarity. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you're
Yeah.
not negating you are afraid in the moment. You're feeling the fear, just as in the other you felt the sorrow, but you're choosing, and that's a big thing with a cosmic quantum energy, is it's owning a trust level in yourself and a trust level in the flow of it all, that you're always guided, guarded, protected, like whatever word you would use in your own reality line, but you're always going in the direction you need to go. So when the space comes, you feel the feeling that the human, the normal, it's normal to feel the feeling, fear, sadness, whatever it is. But it gives you this space of energetic alignment that we're attuning ourselves to. I think we could use those
Yes.
words. With a cosmic quantum energy, it's attuning. We're attuning ourselves. That's another very big feature. We're not being attuned by anything outside of us. There's
Yeah.
no deity doing this to us. Even when we use the term a cosmic quantum energy, if you learn the teachings, you learn that it's a space of you. It's a,
Yes.
in a sense, it's not really a good term for quantum talk, but it's okay. The mind likes it. It's a future point of us that kind of created it and sent it to us to assist us. But you feel the feeling, and then you're able to choose. And you actually, I think we could even say, you're energetically empowered in some way because it feels like you're not so stuck as you used to be. When you're working with Acasma, you're not so stuck in the separated vibration or getting
Yes.
underneath or wrapped up in the emotions, but it's like it releases you, it assists you in resetting yourself into a more grounded state of existence, and where the clarity and the coherence is more available to be utilized for getting through the situation, whatever the situation is. And this is like really every day and can be profound. So you're a mom. Has this come into motherhood? Has this come into spaces where you felt a Cosma assisting the way you reply or the way you respond, something like that with the kids?
Absolutely. Without a doubt. I mean, there was a time I was very reactive, and there are still some days that I can go there, but it is much better now than it was then. Like, I really find myself when I speak to my kids or to my husbands, or a situation arises, it's like that pause comes in naturally. I don't have to think about it, because there was a time I would react and then I would think, oh my gosh, what did I just do? Why did I say that? Why did I go there? And now it's like, before it even happens, I can't even explain how it works. It's like, I don't know, it's magical. It's like, before it even comes up. It's so awesome. Something in me just pauses. And it's because my sight is expanding. It's like I see it from all of these different angles. And I'm like, okay, well, if I say this could happen. If I should say, no, I need to come from this space because I'm talking to my daughter who is 9, and this is how she needs me to respond to her. Or I'm talking to my son who is 14, and this is his personality, and this is what he needs. And all of it happens in like a split second. All of that comes in, and yes, I'm able to interact with them better, and it's much better for everybody.
It's much better for
No,
everybody. My family
for
agrees as
everybody.
well. Yeah,
All aspects, and yeah, that's it's better for all of us.
yeah, it's amazing. I love the visual of being able to register the choices, because they're choices. They're always
Yes,
multiple. They're always innumerable. And being able to consider the individuals, if there are others involved in the experience. And I've been doing that as well. It's like, and what's fascinating is how, like you said, how fast it is. Most people would
yes,
be like, oh, I don't have time to like do. I'm in the middle of the moment, but it's instantaneous. And I believe
yes,
it's connected to the natural ascension process of the human that we're in, and the body's changing, the mind, the systems of the biological structure, the way in which the body's processing our energy as our consciousness. And we're headed to, and some are already either tapping on the door or in the room with telepathy, and being like these, they have these beautiful studies now. I've seen quite a few documentaries on it where they blindfold the children and they have them read the
yes,
books, and they're reading
yes,
without looking with physical eyes. They're utilizing their inner
yes.
sight, their consciousness. And there's so many more of these incredible spaces of us coming in. But I think this movement of register in moments in which we would have been reactive, and negatively so most of the time. Yes.
Mm.
filled with fear or anger or judgment or whatever it is.
Yes.
Like the mind's playing in because you're like, oh, my son is this age and this is his personality. But I feel like the consciousness is utilizing the mind in a way that we hadn't or haven't been doing up until now. And so it's moving so rapidly. And I feel like Acasma quantum energy, this modality, the teachings of it, being activated to it, or working with a facilitator. I facilitate, you facilitate. You're on the expo team. We'll be at Conscious Life Expo, LAX Hilton, February 20th, I believe it is, through the 22nd. We'll be there. So come see us if you're going to be in Los Angeles on those days. We're going to be at the Conscious Life Expo, LAX Hilton. So you facilitate a session for somebody. It's an activation of what we're talking about. Even if they don't take the course and learn to be a facilitator, it doesn't matter. The sessions themselves are reconnecting people back into this space. That's what it's here for. And so then they're able to navigate their life and have these spaces where it's a choice still. They still have the choice. This is not going to take over and make you do, A, B, or C, but it's going to bring A, B, or C into more clarity and more peace and balance in your system, in your mind and in your heart and in your flow as you are in the moment, so that you can look at A, B, or C and you can direct, you can choose accordingly, which is what you're talking about.
Absolutely. Yes. And like how you were saying, it's so fast. It took me longer to explain what happened than it actually happened because it was literally like in a split second. It was like, so like you were saying, somebody listening to this and they're like, I don't have time to go through all of those options. You don't have to worry about it because it happens that quickly. Like it really does. But even today, I woke up this morning and I just wasn't in a good mood and I just wasn't feeling the greatest. And I registered it as what is happening when I get into these spaces. It's like an invitation saying, okay, are you really in the place that you say you're in? Because if I'm in the place that I say I'm in, if I'm at the level of consciousness that I'm plugged into and I want to stay in, that's my opportunity to either allow that feeling to take me over and for me to act out from those places, or to realize I'm a human being. Sometimes I don't feel the greatest. I feel things in my body, and that's okay. But realizing I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be in this moment, and I still get to choose. I get to choose how I move from this point. So, am I going to move from a place of how I'm feeling in the moment, or am I going to move from a place of I understand that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be and it's okay? And I'm not going to feel good all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
And that's all
huge.
right.
Oh yeah, it's all right. And it opens up the energy to be able to move so that it can change. And
Yes.
that choice on your part and my part to not grab a hold of it, get all up in it and give it more focus than maybe, it deserves or something like that.
Mhm.
That creates the opportunity for the day to move in a new way because we're not gripping the energies that feel like they're off.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, like that's a huge one in itself. Um, I love the way it feels like everything you're sharing, you've given yourself room. You're giving yourself space around your experiences, inside your experiences, around your emotions, inside your emotions. You're giving yourself space, meaning you are no longer, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but you're no longer, yes, connecting in with the experiences as if that's all there is. It's like you've put
Yes.
space around them and you put like, oh, I feel fearful sometimes. And I remember because I had panic attacks and anxiety and all this back in the day. I remember being in those moments and feeling those feelings, and I didn't think another moment was coming. I thought that was it. Like that was all in my face. That was all I could see, all I could feel. I there was no way I was thinking, feeling, hearing this too shall pass. That was
Right.
not on the docket, you know? But it feels like what you're talking about is another way of being, where when the space has whatever it has in it, the experience has whatever it has in it, you have more room to navigate, whether you
Yes.
are going directly into it or navigating around it or stepping back from it, whatever the choice is. That is a very empowering gift to give the self.
Yes. Because when you say, I love how you say gripping, because that absolutely brings to mind how I used to live. I would have this tight grip on these emotions, or rather, the emotions would have a tight grip on me, and there was no room, there was no space to see anything else or to even stop. And kind of like
Mm-hmm.
how you were describing the panic attacks, like when it was going on, it's just like, there is no, this is going to get better and it's going to move out of the way. So, it's just like it's completely encompassing and it takes you over. And that's how I used to live, being an empath. My whole life, I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what that meant. And then when I learned what being an empath was, I was like, wow, this explains everything. So I had a new level of understanding, but I was still stuck in this space where I was taken over by all of these emotions. And I thought that's how I had to live. So that was a part of it. And so again, finding Acasma brought in these different understandings where now I am able to just register what's going on with other people. And
Mm-hmm.
it is it's a beautiful thing because I'm able to register in a different way and there's space between there, like you said.
I love
So
that. Yeah,
yes.
the space. And that's so fun because I mean, from day one, I've said, welcome to the space. It's my saying, it's what I say. So, um, for a lot of reasons, but I love the connectivity here in this thought that we're sharing now. I love you brought empaths in. Um, my oldest is empathic, and it was hard when she was little because we didn't understand it or know really that she was yet. And she would be with her tutor at school, and the tutor would have a migraine, and she'd get a migraine. And then, we'd be like, why does she have a migraine? And then, it took us a long time many years to gain any kind of understanding of what she was doing. And then, to begin to try to work it, help her, to be in this world. And it's fascinating to me that at that point I did not remember Acasma. I did not remember the teachings, the energetic keys, how to attune somebody. All of that came in. My daughter was already an adult, and a lot of I can see now a lot of how it was able to come in. I was able to land it. I was able to be a presence of resonance for the teachings of Acasma, for the energies of Acasma, is because of spaces I navigated with my empathic child as a young adult or teenager. There were so many really big pivotal moments of her learning how to read her own energy. We were working together, and I had this the knowledge I had taught myself from my own studies of healing my own life. And I don't claim to be empathic. I don't think I'm an empath. I know people say, oh, well, if you are, lady, but I'm different. I read energy and I can register what somebody's feeling and doing, but I don't have any. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm an empowered empath. I don't know. I have no attachment to it. Yes. I
Yes.
mean, I can remain, but I always have been this way since I was a kid. Like, I never had attachment to somebody else's energy, but I could read. So that's fascinating, right? In a sense.
Right.
But then I brought in the connectivity of a healing modality that would then embody that, right? Like, teach it and attune people to be able to read their own energy, register theirs and others, and remain clear and coherent, which I believe that's accurate to say. With Acasma quantum energy, you learn to register your own energy. Empaths, I believe, learn how to ground their own energy, balance their own energy, and then register somebody else's energy with neutrality for, if needed and available, not obligatory, the availability to assist. If
Yes.
especially if you're a facilitator, because you're reading them while you're facilitating.
Yes.
And this is taught in the course and in the book and the teachings in general. But empaths, when I first began doing group Zoom calls, and I did the grid first, that was my first big, well, I think I did an 8-8 portal first, but um, I had never used these words before in my life when I started doing this work. So it was really fascinating. I just jumped. I didn't need to figure them out. And it's so funny because a lot of people that I work with, they want to know all these specifics. And what's one of our logos or sayings, our mantras? Trust yourself. Trust
Yeah.
yourself, allow. So I don't speak from a space where I'm telling somebody to do something I haven't done. I trust, I lean in, I show up, and I have no you know, existing understanding of the space. I did an 8-8 portal, and I had a little Instagram account at the time, and I think over 100 and some people came to the Zoom call. It was really big. And I
Wow.
was I was kind of floored at first because I just didn't know what to expect, and I also didn't know how to use Zoom. That's part of the joke. I was just learning as I was going. But it all went really well. But I remember a couple of the people mentioning that they were empathic and they were nervous to be in a group format doing energy work because they were empathic on top of it, right? And I said to them, this a cosmic quantum energy is a higher vibrational space of connection that's here to assist humanity. It's designed for empaths. You are not here to read anybody else's energy at this moment on this call. You are here to read yours. And you are here to extend your understanding of registering the energy around you without it having any massive impact on you. And we went with it. It was my understanding, and it was important to share it. And whoever had showed up at that space, they might be hearing this now, and they might remember that call a long time ago, 2020. They were part of how this landed, that it could be available to people who are empathic, that they can empower their abilities. Because they're a gift. They really are. And they're a
Yes.
powerful gift. They're a powerful gift. And I actually think empathic people, and I mean this in the most respectful way to everyone, empath and not, but I think they're designed for Acasma. If you think about what we do in a session,
Yes.
how we read the people's energy and how we
Yes.
we reconnect them, and we do the energetic work spaces for their root lines and soul spaces and sacred heart and so forth. But then we're registering, and if comfortable, it's not a standard that has to be held because all facilitators are different. But if they're comfortable, the facilitator shares additional information of what they read going on in the client. And so an empath is already geared to read the client. And then an Acasma empath is going to be somebody who's also trained, skilled, and attuned to be able to hold that alignment with no detriment to themselves. They're registering, but they're not picking it up. They're not carrying it home. They're not attaching to it in any way. I think it's incredible. I've never actually had a conversation about this before, ever. But it's landing here today, and it's coming in through you, Tanny. So thank you for this. I think you guys are designed for this space. I think it's like a double blessing. It's like a freedom of yes, the enormity that can be registered from being an empathic person. It's a freedom from that enormity or toll in some way. And it's also an incredibly powerful connection point for an Acasma facilitator to be able to hold, to register their
Yes.
clients that way. So have you, I didn't even know you were, empathic, and you
Mm.
navigating registering your own power at some point in life. And did you notice a difference when you started working with Acasma? Even if you had already cleared that space of how you navigate as an empath, but when you hold session spaces for people, does your empathic ability feel as if it's even understood in a new way in connection with Acasma?
I think so because I feel a lot of things in my body. And for the longest time, you live from your perspective and you don't understand how other people feel or function. And so for me, for a long time, I was just like, oh, well, just everybody is like this. And apparently, everybody was not like that. So I couldn't figure out growing up. I'm like, I would be in certain spaces and when people were being nasty to other people, and it would just feel like hurtful. I'd be hurt in my body. And I'm like, how come other people don't feel this? And now with Acosma, it has absolutely changed. So in session spaces, Acosma always looks for the good, right? Which is the truth. And so in session spaces, whatever good it goes to, it's literally like there will be an explosion of energy in my body wherever that part is happening. I have felt such intense energy in sessions with other people that it is absolutely amazing. I've had some where I've just been blown away by what is moving through other individuals. So it has absolutely changed for the positive because, I don't have that. Like I said, like I felt like I was hijacked before. That's literally what it would feel
Yeah.
like. Like I would be going about my day, minding my business, and all of a sudden it was like something would slam into me. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, why am I so angry all of a sudden? Why am I so sad all of a sudden? And I didn't even realize for the longest time what was happening. I thought I was crazy. It's like, I don't understand what's going on at all. But it has I feel like the energy was distorted before,
Mm.
that there were distortions in my energy. And I feel like a Cosma has realigned and cleared those distortions.
That would make sense because it is a reset of coherent flow. So that would make
Yes.
sense. And um, the uptick, I think we started the conversation off with this, the field shifting and moving and expanding so much, right? So rapidly lately, in really beautiful ways, but at the same time, registerable by many. And again, this is one of the key reasons why Acasma came through in 2020. It was coming in years prior, but it came through, landed in 2020, which, that in itself is a lot right there to just a message. Uh,
Yes.
but it's here for this. It's here to meet us right where we're at, also, like you said. And I love the fact of how you said it looks for what is right, it looks for the good, because it does so with each individual student or client. It always looks for what's right with them, which is also a huge shift in perspective. Most holistic treatments and energetic modalities, which it makes total sense. It makes total sense. If you're going to seek some type of assistance, you're probably doing it for a specific reason. And maybe this, that, or the other is off or hurting or whatever, right? So you would want them to address it, right? I get that. But what we teach and what we attune to in a cosmic quantum energy is there's an ability to address what's off, what's ailing, what's in a state of dis-ease,
Mm.
but to do it from a higher vibrational space of connection gives you the ability to move it and work with it at um, a much, yes, clearer, more coherent, energetic alignment connection point, which changes everything. It's like trying to clean the kitchen with mud all over your body. You're going to get mud everywhere, you know? But if you clean your
Yes.
body up first and then go clean the kitchen, and you know, it's going to be a different story, right? You could still get it clean, but it'd take you a while the other way, right? So
Mhm.
Acasma shows up with these spaces of alignment, and this coherency that's available is it's changing everything. To come into a session looking for what's right and seeing the client's divinity
Mhm.
resets them into that space. Whatever we focus on expands. Like, I don't know if it's
Yes.
called the double split or slit experiment.
Yes. Yes, I
Okay.
know what you're talking about.
Okay. So like it's
You're
an actual like pretty common experiment that people talk about, where when something is observed, it actually is then available or formed or it becomes present. And if you observe somebody's divinity, you go in with the intent of allowing that connection, which you're attuned to do it as well with the teachings. It is, I believe, a spiritual, sacred, divine alignment. It's not like turning on a light switch with no emotional connection. It's a very beautiful, sacred thing. I say it's the most intimate connection you can have with another human being. It trumps sex, romance, all of it,
right.
to be able to
Yes.
hold this type of session with somebody, because you are truly connecting in with their divine essence. And the minute that connection is made, it's then present. Whether they are living a life in which that's an active point of reference for them that feels comfortable and every day and it's who they are, or whether they have not found that space of themselves yet. The minute you see it as the facilitator in a Cosmic Quantum Energy session, the minute you attune in to them at that level of them, the entire session is happening in their divinity, in that alignment of their essence. That's why we see what we see happening with the movement of people's lives, of healings on different levels, and of people, um, yes, moving forward and implementing, because that's a big one with
Yes.
Acasma as well. There's a lot of really beautiful modalities out there, and we're not saying we're the best. We're not saying we're the only one that does what I'm talking about. But I do know what I'm talking about with this space, because this is my space, right? And I've been other spaces that have been really wonderful at this, that, or the other. But
Yes.
there has to be this repetitive connective point in order for the person to kind of proceed forward in healing this, that, or the other. But with Acasma, even one session, if that's, you know, what works for you and your design, because it's still your design, and if you designed it to be a one session deal, that's all it'll need to be. And you'll remember and you'll shift accordingly. And if you, as the person hearing this, have designed it to be 3 sessions, or one session a month for 6 months, or whatever your thing is, it's your design. You're going to meet you right where you're at, and the Cosmo will show up and meet you there as well. Does this land for you, Tanny? Have you seen this in your self work and in your client work?
100%. The implementation part is key. You said that, I was like, yes. Because again, I started my spiritual journey, like my awakening and ascension process was probably in 2020. I think that's about when it started, 2019, 2020. And I have been in a lot of different spaces, like as you have, learned from a lot of different teachers, and all of them were exactly where I was supposed to be. But with all that I was learning, I had the hardest time bringing it into my life and actually implementing it. And it was not until Acasma that those things started to flow on their own.
Mm.
Like they just started to flow on their own. Um, I do have a coaching client that I'm working with right now, and he has said the same thing. Like he's just implementing, like it's just happening. And he's like, I don't have to do anything. I'm like, I know it's really cool. You don't have to think about it. It just flows out. So when you just, as you say, trust and allow,
Yeah, you got to
it
trust and
just,
allow. That is the
it's the
one
trust is
thing.
the big
Yeah.
part. The trust is the big part. And I think that's where I would get stuck a lot in the past. I'd be doing these things and I'm like, well, I'm doing all the things, but it doesn't seem like anything's happening. And so with this, the trust and allow part, hearing that over and over again, I'm like, okay, I just have to trust, just trust. I've done what I need to do. And now I just need to let spirit flow into its work. So absolutely.
I love that, the trust and allow. It is the key. And it's interesting because trust can be placed in so many spaces, and sometimes we
Mm,
don't even realize the spaces we've left it in, and it's been percolating a trust of it's going to go wrong again, or a trust of I'm going to mess it up again, or a trust of that ailment's going to come back again, or whatever the trust has been placed in, and we just don't even remember we held faith in that, we gave trust to that space, and we're initiating or moving into a new space of alignment that we're seeking to land in our lives. Acasma will redirect us to find those pockets of where we've put trust in a space that we no longer align with, and allow our love to flood it, and then allow ourselves to reset into that trust that you mentioned multiple times already, that I'm always going in the direction I need to go. That whatever I'm in at the moment, I need to be in. Whatever I'm dealing with at the moment, I need to deal with. And it's taking me where I need to go. That trust level, that perception viewpoint is it again, it creates a flow state for the person, for the individual, to where they don't get stuck in cycles, they don't get stuck in loops, don't get
mm,
stuck in patterns or habits that they keep replaying the same old, because they don't need to, because they're not holding a level of disconnect or fear or separation, but they're holding a level of trust of I'm going where I need to go. So that is
yeah,
telling the field, this is how this person's processing. And the field says, got it. Here you go. Here's the experiences that'll match that. And you keep moving. And that energy is a very coherent, balanced movement, even when the experience gives you the opportunity to confirm. It doesn't matter. The outer experience can be all wonky. It can be in your face. It can be crazy chaotic, but it doesn't mean we have to be.
that's right.
We can make the decision to, like you said early on in the call when we started this whole thing, seeing all of the different choices and seeing them instantaneously, even. The more we practice this, even holding the thought that it's possible. If
Yeah.
somebody's hearing us right now and they're like, I am not ready for seeing every single line and making that quick, I don't even think I could do that yet. Can you contemplate with curiosity and excitement the potential? If you can think it, you can do it. And
That's
thinking
right.
it gives you the opportunity to align the space because you're giving it a resonance. So if you're hearing us right now and that happens to be the alignment, you're still working your way into that trust level, just keep thinking about it. Imagine what we've discussed here today. This is a fantastic tool. Anybody can take this with them. Imagine, hold a thought process of what does that look like to have an experience of life unfolding that's not comfortable, and I have the opportunity and the ability to assess, to observe, to determine the way I want to go through this space. The space doesn't tell me, I tell the space.
Yes.
Anybody can do that. Anybody can contemplate it, right? They can think about it. You don't have to be an expert at it on day one, but thinking about it gives you the opportunity, anyone the opportunity, to be able to begin that path.
Yes.
It's funny because honestly, there's a phrase people use a lot. They'll say, "It's just a thought," but like it's no big deal. They'll say, "Oh, it's just a thought," but I was thinking maybe we could da 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 da. And I get why people say it that way, and I'm not saying that's incorrect in any manner. But what I am saying is how profound it's just a thought really is, because it's the beginning of the alignment of whatever you're thinking about. It's just a thought.
Because once you put it out there, you've given it energy and you've given it space to become.
Yeah, and it's like like you could actually see it as like a connector bridge. Some people may be familiar with how we form new thoughts in the brain. You might have seen those videos where it shows like the little light line coming up to the other little light line,
Mhm.
and then they make a connection, and the thought is put into motion, and being given that attention. And when you're choosing an alignment as you navigate any experience in life, the field, the invisible, incomprehensible, limitless potential of all is ebbing and flowing all around us all the time. And as the situation unfolds and the decision is made, we're sending out a line of connection with whatever choice we're making. And it isn't that any of those are wrong. It's just that they will take us to very specific spaces of experience. So what we're talking about, what Acasma teaches, is the power and the mastery available to all of us in wielding and deciding for ourselves where we plug into in the
Mhm.
vastness, in the limitless potential, with whatever response we're giving, whatever way in which we're connecting with the space. And I used to be very reactive as well. You said you were very reactive before. I was so reactive. I was so angry, but I was all out of
Mhm.
whack hormonally as well. So, sympathy to anyone who understands that space too. So, I had a mindset to change. I had a nervous system to heal. I had a chemical imbalance to balance. There was a lot going on in my body and in my being, but I did it. I did it, and I didn't give up, and I'm glad for every space of it because it's how it got me here, and I learned so much. I would not be able to speak the things I speak and teach the things I teach had I not lived the life I lived. So you're right. We're always taking ourselves right where we need to go.
Yes. And like you said before, if there is someone who is thinking, I can't do all of these things, I'm not ready for that, that's the beauty of a Cosmo because you don't have to do those things. If you're not ready for it, the highest version of yourself knows exactly what you can handle and what you're ready for.
Mm-hmm.
And you will not be given more than you can handle. And it won't be this big, massive thing that you have to navigate or deal with. And then you also said something else that was very profound to me because I have never looked at it like this before. But when you were talking about trust, where we place our trust, I've put trust in the fact that I'm going to get sick again. I've put trust, never thought about it like that before. I've always connected those with fear spaces. So now that has opened up a whole nother layer for me. Yes, I've been putting trust in places that I don't want to trust in anymore. So
Yeah.
thank you for that because that was wow.
Yeah.
Thank you
It's
for that.
it's faith and trust. They're fascinating.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have to do a call on just faith and trust one time because they're fascinating. And they move mountains or build
Mm-hmm.
them or build them.
Mm-hmm. Build walls, absolutely.
So, all right, Tanny, if somebody wants to connect with you, we'll have some information below the video so they can reach out. You've got your coaching you're doing, you've got your Acasma Quantum Energy sessions you're facilitating. You're going to be at the Conscious Life Expo, Booth 86, International Ballroom, facilitating complimentary sessions. So they're about 10, 15
Yes.
minutes long, but they are potent, powerful, and beautiful. And the feedback has been phenomenal. This will be year 3. So we're super excited to be this space. And Tanny's been on this platform with me before, and I'm believing she's going to be here again. We love doing these calls together, and we love your feedback. So everyone watching this right now and sharing your feedback with us in whatever way it's coming in, via comments, via emails, via the chat spaces we hold. We love your comments. Thank you for connecting and sharing your love. It's wonderful to connect with each and every one of you. If you're not already in our beautiful community, we have a beautiful spiritual community, the Acasma Family of Light. You're welcome to join us. What we do is Acasma, Acasma, Acasma. So if this interests you and resonates with you, the door's open. We'd love to say, welcome home, Holy One. Welcome home. And Tanny, do you have anything to add that you'd like to say before we close the call?
All that comes to mind is, as you have said before, trust you. If you're listening to this today, you're listening to it for a reason. There is something that has pulled you to this space, and only you know what that is. So just trust yourself and allow.
I love it. I love it. PowerPoint for the day. PowerPoint for the day, for the year, for the life. All right, Holy One, thank you, Tanny, for being this space. And we send out a huge wave of love to all those who are listening, watching, and connecting in whatever way you are. We love you. We love you. We love you.
We love you. Yes.